Joseph, first of all then, coffee with, what's your order?
I've gone for a double espresso. It's, I wouldn't say it's everyone's choice, and I'm not the biggest coffee drinker, but if I'm to have a coffee, it's just get the espresso down me and then,
To get that hit from the coffee?
Yeah, real quick. I don't want to, I'm not too big, you've got coffee connoisseurs, they come in and they're a bit like, nah, just give me double espresso, keep it simple, keep moving.
So we've got you here after training. What would a typical afternoon look like for you? How do you spend your time once you've done at County Park?
Probably just go back in, see if I've got any cleaning to do, or I've got a load of dishwasher, maybe stick some clothes in the washing machine, sit in bed for a bit. Funnily enough, I just got into a new series on Paramount Plus yesterday, Tulsa King.
Right.
Give that a watch.
Sylvester Stallone?
Sylvester Stallone, the man himself. Give that a watch. So pretty chilled. I think you've actually given me something to do.
You're not one of them people that finds enjoyment in doing housework, are you? I know you mentioned the housework there. Does that you put your time into that? Or?
Nah, I'm not thorough in terms of just have a clean, neat environment, and I think that's about it for me. You're not going to see me on all fours and scrubbing. Nah. That's a step too far. But I'll keep it clean enough. It's not a mess.
What about if you got a day off, say? What would you typically do with that?
It varies, So I play the drums.
Right.
So I did that growing up.
Yeah.
When I was in church and stuff. So it was even my sisters that told me that I could go down to pirate studios because they're all over. So I've gone to one in Sheffield once so far. Probably if I get a bit more time, I'll pop down there, spend about an hour on the drums, just me, myself, and the sticks, and have a bit of fun. Me and Hursty haven't been to paddle in a while.
So you were big on that.
Yeah, massive on it. I was telling them today in the gym, I said we ain't been in a minute, so gonna have to try and find some time for that soon. But not too much. Not too much. Might be going shopping tomorrow, so keep an eye out for that.
Is that therapeutic then, the drums?
Yeah. Have my earphones in, have some sort of track that I'm trying to play along with, and it's just a nice little release from the day-to-day run around on the football pitch, innit? So
So we're talking drums, the
full
kind
drums,
of band full drum.
If you want to see the skills on show, feel free to get us set up and I'll see what I can.
I think that's a challenge that we can't.
I'll see what I can put together. Yeah.
Absolutely, that's good. You spend you mentioned Hursty, of course, but you spend much time with other lads. I know there's a few where you're round together where you're living at the moment.
Yeah, we do. I think probably when the Wagamama is in just by the Nando's near the Asda, when that opened, I think maybe a few of us went down there. That was even last season actually, with Timmy, Tulu, Maxime Biamu, went down to that, and Hursty. We'd have had a couple other people with us, but just when you find the time to spend a bit of time together, probably Nico and Ephraim, they live downstairs, so I'll just casually walk into theirs.
Are they good neighbours?
Yeah. Nico likes a bit of music on a day off at about 9 a.m, so I anticipate that. Try and be out of bed before that happens, but they're sound.
You've been in the area for a while now. How have you found living in Doncaster?
Enjoying it. It's like a second home in a weird way, It's very different from the hustle and bustle of London, which I'm used to. So it's a lot more conserved. It's a lot more relaxed, shall I say. London's everyone's in a rush. No one's saying hi to you. No one's saying hi to you at all. But up here is very different. Very, very different, which is nice. Real nice.
Is there a bit of culture shock in a weird sort of way?
When I first came up,
Yeah.
100% when I first came up, it was very different. But once you're open to just getting to know your new environment and you're willing to just immerse yourself in it, it becomes easy. It becomes second nature, innit? So
when the time comes and you eventually move away from Doncaster, what do you think you'll miss about the place? Whether that's somewhere that you go or whether that's kind of just a general cultural thing.
That's a big question. I think just everything. Honestly, I didn't know of Doncaster thoroughly before I came here. I know a few boys that had been with Arsenal, had been here on loan and stuff, but in terms of actually having an idea of what the town was, which is now the city, was like no idea at all, and it'll be missed. You know, I try not to look that far ahead.
Yeah.
Try to enjoy it whilst I'm here, but yeah, I'll definitely probably come back in some way, but yeah, try not to think about that too much. I'll be honest.
Absolutely. You mentioned church, and we know that faith's a big part of your life. How was that kind of? Have you been able to transfer that up here and make that not only with yourself, but there's a lot of community in church and things like that? Have you found that up here?
I have. Thankfully, when I first came up, Fajiri was still here, so Faye was still here, and he goes to a local church, Liberty, I believe. So he took me down for a service on a Sunday, and I really enjoyed it. And recently I've gotten back into going back when I'm up here more for like longer periods, going back on a Sunday, and just, it's nice, you know, it's an hour and a half, 2 hours service, kind of being with other people that are like-minded in that sense, a bit of praise and worship, a nice word, and then it starts the Sunday well. You know, it's an early service, 9:30, but by 11:30 I'm off, do a bit of shopping, and then my Sunday set up nicely. So I've done that, which is nice, really enjoyable.
Yeah. We know it is a massive part of your life, and see you when you come out onto the pitch, you say a prayer at that point. What does that do for you at that point in time as you kind of walk in?
I think it's very simple. It's simply me just saying thank you, Jesus, isn't it? Because, you know, it's not many young boys dream of being a footballer, you know, and not many of them have the ability, or not even the ability, not many of them are fortunate enough to live out that dream. And I thankfully, by the grace of God, I get to do that every single weekend, sometimes during the week as well. So I never take it for granted. Honestly speaking, I never take it for granted. And that's all it is, just me saying thank you, Jesus, like, watch over me, keep me, protect me, and let's have a bit of fun. Yeah. Plain and simple.
And gives you that bit of calmness just before the madness.
For sure. I think I'm probably already locked in, you know, already fully focused on the game, just being present in the game. But yeah, probably that extra push that you might need before a game.
Well, I know we've talked in the past about your positive outlook, and that never comes away, and that's kind of linked with your faith as well. How challenging is it to maintain that positivity when things aren't going so well, whether that's for the team collectively or you've not quite got the minutes that you've not?
It's a decision. I'll be honest, Liam, it's a decision at the end of the day. You know, so it's interesting. I think there was a video I saw on TikTok, and someone's given the explanation that you have primary emotions and you have secondary emotions. So something might happen in your first emotion, which you can't control because we're human, is maybe joy, and then the other emotion might be like, now you might become a bit anxious because you're like, well, what if that doesn't? So that's a secondary emotion which you now have control over. So it's the first emotion, maybe not played enough, maybe a bit of disappointment, you know, that's the first emotion. Then you've got the second emotion. I believe I've got the ability to dictate and determine how I'm going to feel and how I respond to that. So I think that's where appreciate the first emotion, because you have to, we're human beings, but also then be mindful of, okay, what's the next thing, and just life goes on, you know. Don't take things too seriously, don't take things too literal, too personal. No one means to offend you in any shape or form, and just keep rolling with it, man. Do things with a smile on your face, and makes things that bit easier, you know.
Absolutely. And you find in the end that you're rewarded. If at the start of the season you've quite not got the minutes that you wanted, at the moment things going very well for you.
Yeah, just enjoying it. Yeah. Just enjoying it. I think just earning the right every single day. Nothing's guaranteed. Earning the right every single day. Turning up to training, doing what you can do, exerting yourself as far as you physically can, and then hoping and trusting that everything else falls in place. I think that's my approach. That's my way of facing things, if I'm being honest.
And you say that day-to-day attitude, everybody's got to have that in a minute, with that competition that we always talk about within the squad, but it is so strong, you cannot take any single day for granted.
100%. I think even in training, we see as the season goes on, even probably from the back end of last season, where it was just, you could just see the levels in training were going up and up and up, and even this year, same thing, they're going up and up and up, and that's good. That's what I'd like to believe, that's what a successful team is made of, pushing each other every single day. And it might be the little 1%, but the 1% over the course of a season can make a massive difference.
And that kind of, that every sort of the day-to-day things and driving things on, it's put you in this position as well where you have enjoyed a fantastic run in the team yourself, fantastic form. Where do you put this kind of current run among the ones that you've had in the side? Since you've been at the club, you had some good runs in the past, but for you personally, it seems to be, as a string of games go, it's been very, very good.
Just enjoying it. I think it's just enjoying it, Liam. I'll be honest. You know, I think you can fully appreciate something once it's gone and it's happened. You know, it's been and done. That's when you can fully appreciate something. For example, last season when we went on that run, we were just getting it done, just ticking away. And it's now sitting back when maybe outsiders ask, well, you went on, like, you won this amount of games in a row. But yeah, we did. You can now sit back and fully appreciate it. So when you're in the moment, you've just got to stay present in the moment. Can't look too far ahead, you know, can't look too far back. Then you just enjoy it and just keep doing what you're doing and just have fun with it.
That's kind of your thinking anyway, but that seems to very much align with what the gaffer were doing in that, particularly that run last season. It was very much this one game at a time, living in that moment and just doing what you needed to do at the time.
It's important because that's how you're going to fully get the best out of that moment you're in. Because if we'd sat down and there was conversation, oh, boys, we can go unbeaten for 10 games, it probably wouldn't happen. But if we're just like, well, what's the next game? What's the next game? Because you're giving your entirety to that game that's coming up. You're not looking too far ahead, and it's just that game. And when you can do that, you can then exert yourself to the maximum for that game. We'll recover and then we'll move on to the next game. And it's just that way of approaching things, if I'm being honest.
How much of what you're being asked to do out on the pitch and the style and everything that comes with it, how much does that suit you? How much is that playing a part in you thriving at the minute?
I think down to a T, I'll be honest. Just off the back of my football education, coming through at Arsenal, that was very much just dominate possession, like be comfortable on the ball in uncomfortable positions, and just be expressive, high intensity after the ball, not wanting to sit back and let teams dictate, you dictating even without the ball. So I think it comes hand in hand, and I'm even learning more as I'm going along. I've learned a lot from last season to this season even. I'm sure I'll keep learning even more.
The differences this season, can you tell in differences in how other teams are approaching playing Rovers?
Yeah, I think teams will look at what a team's done in the past, and that's where they'll probably assess you off, shall I say, or they'll be a bit more wary because they're aware that, well, this team in, I believe, 18 games, there was, I think, 1 loss and maybe about 15 wins or so and 2 draws. So teams are watching going, yeah, that's a lot of points picked up in a row. We've got to be very careful here. So teams might want to come with a more pragmatic approach, try and be a bit more defensive and wait for their opportunities. But we just need to know how to outsmart them and still play our game and still take advantage of what they're trying to do and turn it to a disadvantage for them, but an advantage for us. So it's just about being that bit smarter and almost going, well, okay, well, teams are respecting us. We've still got to keep going, you know? Just because a team respects you doesn't mean you pick up points because they respect you from beginning. No, you pick up points by doing what you believe you want to do and doing it well and executing the game plan.
There's been an awful lot of talk recently, and rightly so, about the partnership that you've got with Jay McGrath. How much are you enjoying playing alongside Jay?
Good. Just every single day, like I said, on the weekend, pushing one another, trying to get the best out of each other. You know, not settling for that's all right, no, it's demanding, you know, and I think it's understanding that if I give you a bit of advice, it's not personal. If you give me, it's not personal at all. It's because I want you to do better and you want me to do better. That's how we view it, and I think that's what you need, you know, and it's something, at times these things happen naturally and organically, and I think that's what you've seen over the past few weeks, and it's just for us to just continually work on that and just keep going as we're going. Just keep going. Don't change anything at all. Just add on to what we've already been able to do so far.
Has it felt like magic and natural, you know, kind of that it has just been able to click?
I think, yeah, natural. Natural's definitely the word. the best word to describe how that's just formed and it's just happened. And like I say, I'm so present. Sometimes I'll be in games, something might happen, and because I'm just so in the game. After the game, oh, do you remember when that happened? No, I don't, lad. Sorry. So it just shows that just you're in it, and you're just trying to stay in it and help everyone else around you, and that's what's been happening with the partnership that's brewing.
You both, probably, certainly if you compared yourself to Richard Wood, Tom Anderson, you're both at similar stages of your career. You know, your best years still ahead of you. In all likelihood, has that helped as well in terms of you both picking up off each other and learning from each other?
For sure. I think we're both just very hungry. You know, hungry. Just want to learn, play games, learn, and push each other to get to the highest level we can get to, that our ability can and our potential can help us get to. And I think that's a big thing. Just being hungry, that desire as well to just every single day come in. We're not going to get it right all the time, you know, you're not going to, but just if you want to come in every single day and show that you want to get better, then it then just balances itself out, you know. It starts to then piece together, and then it all comes together well.
And you know, as we talked about earlier, you've got some very good defenders behind you, pushing you all the way as well.
Exactly that, and learning from them, asking them questions, and not taking it for granted at all. That's one thing I can't do. I don't think I'll ever be able to. I can't take it for granted, you know. Always wanting to learn from Richard Wood and Tom Anderson, and consistently asking them questions when necessary, of course, you know, getting their opinion on something, or just being around them more so than anything else, and just observing how they continually keep doing the right things, regardless of what's going on away from football. At football, they're consistently doing the right thing every single day, and I can take a lot from that, you know, because it just shows that you just have to be consistent to what you set out to do. Just consistently do it. They've been doing it for years, and they're still in the game, so they're doing something right, you know. So it's just taking a page out of that book and just adding it on to the knowledge that I've gained so far, and then hopefully more to come.
Yeah, it's not a bad learning tree to be under, really.
It's not a bad one at all. Not a bad one at all.
They're quite calm characters as well. I think people see them on the pitch. Tom in particular can get very fiery at times, but they're both very, you know, kind of calm, guiding hands when they need to be.
100%. And I think that's probably the best thing to do, you know. It's like unleashing a lion out of its cage. In the cage, it prowls around, but you let it out, taste a bit of freedom, and then you see its true colours, and that's probably around the training ground, calm, brilliant. On the training pitch, they're demanding, very, very demanding, but rightly so. That's how it should be.
How would you describe yourself in that sort of scenario, similar sort of way?
Yeah, I think away from the football pitch, I'm just keep to myself.
Yeah.
Maybe try and throw a few jokes here and there, go around laughing, having fun. But on the football pitch, it's straight to business. Straight to business. I've played against a few mates already this season, and it's after the game. We'll talk after the game. I'll say hi to you before the game. During the game, nah. After the game, we'll reconvene. We're friends again. But during the game, nah, not at all. So, yeah, similar. I'd like to think, you know, just keep to myself, have a bit of fun off the pitch, and then on the pitch, get down to business.
I'm going to say, probably a lot of people won't appreciate that, coming up against people that you know really well, and what that actually is like.
Yeah, it's nice. It's real nice to see, you know. It's real nice to see, because I have an understanding of the hard work it takes to be at a level where you're playing in the league, so I can appreciate and respect them as professionals. And I've got a lot of love for them as my friends as well. But as soon as you step over the white line, it's a different conversation entirely. So, yeah.
We talked about kind of how you'll push each other as a squad, and opposition teams will push you as well. But I know family and your sisters in particular thriving in their areas, and some pretty, thingy areas as well in terms of the jobs and the careers that they're pursuing. Very competitive at home, or how does it work like that? I know you'll be very supportive of each other.
Yeah, very. I think, we stay on top of each other. You know, we're siblings. I think the love we have for one another is unbelievable. Generally speaking, it's unbelievable, I think. And we exhibit that in the way we are with each other. Always pushing each other sister's always on to me about football. Yeah, you make sure. I'm like, yeah, I understand. I've got you. And they're always. But it's brilliant because it's what I've needed in times where maybe a couple of seasons ago when I had a load of injuries, they were there. Don't worry, you're going to get back. You're going to get back. You're going to get back. In having that extra voice, besides my voice, within believing and knowing I'm going to get back, having that extra push from them means a lot. They've been there from the beginning of the journey. You know, they've seen it happen. They've seen everything happen. So them consistently encouraging me all these years, and they're still going and still pushing, and yeah, it's real nice. And then, like you're saying, what they do for themselves is that's enough motivation for me. I'll be honest, that's enough motivation for me. So we all work hand in hand together.
Architecture and biochemical engineering.
Chemical engineering. Yes. I remember. I think over the weekend, my little sister might have been taking down some codes or something, and I'm just looking at the computer, at her laptop, and I'm just like, what are you copying and pasting? She's like, yeah, I've just got to take all of this down because it's for a graph. And she gets to it, and then she puts it in. I'm like, is that all that information? She's like, yeah. I said, do you understand it? She's like, yeah. I said, yeah, it just looks like a load of squiggly lines to me, if I'm being honest, but that's what she's studying. She understands it in and out, so fair play.
All of you have had to show a tremendous amount of dedication and drive and motivation to achieve what you have. Is that something that was very much instilled in you as a child?
Yeah. I think seeing my mum, dad, the way they are in terms of just relentless with how they've had to come over here to provide for us. You know, at first it was just my mum, myself, my two sisters. So having seen her having to look after us, and then my dad then came over from Nigeria a few years after that. But her with 3 young kids having to move around, and it's funny because for her she'll probably think, they're still very young, but I've got very vivid memories of different things that we've had to go through and different things that she's endured and gotten through, and then my dad coming over, and then he's now having to make a way for himself and had to go, and he's had a driver's license back home in Nigeria, but you've got to get a different one when you move country, so he's had to go and relearn driving per se, but he can already drive. So it's seeing all of that, and it's a lot, and I appreciate them for it, because even without them having said much, a lot of what they've, like the resilience they've shown in many different scenarios, for me, I've just gone, fair play, man. It's just giving me great examples of, if you want to make a way for yourself, if you want to, what's the best word? If you want to do well for yourself, there's a certain level of commitment, a certain level of dedication. You've got to give a certain level of sacrifice even. You know, their parents, they've had to sacrifice a lot of time for myself and my sisters. I remember the times when my dad would have to get off work early to drive me to go to trials. That's about an hour away from home. And he's had to do it because he believes in his son's dream, and he's got to support that dream. Even though he's had to take work off a bit early, but he's had to do it because he's trying to help his son fulfill the dream that he has. And I've seen all of that. There's different examples of what they've done, and it's brilliant. It genuinely is brilliant.
And that'll stay with you for the rest of your life, I'm sure. But also, I imagine that the day comes that you're a parent yourself, that'll be an example that you're looking to set.
100%. My kids will have stories for days. I'll be letting them know. Don't you worry. I'll be letting them know. They'll be getting the odd trips back to South London. Yeah, your dad grew up around here. Did you? Yeah, right there. You know, and just, little things that I've learned from my parents, from other people around me, uncles, aunties, little things like that. Definitely be more than willing to pass it on to them, by God's grace.
The question that I want to finish these interviews with will be the same for everybody, but and I know you're not someone who likes to look too far ahead, but when the time comes that you do hang up your boots, what would you want people to say about your career and how you have been as a player?
I think plain and simple, he was just true to who he was, true to himself. He was authentic, didn't almost, is it conform? I think conform is probably the best word I can use into how other people wanted him to be. He was just himself, and you either loved it or you didn't. But that was just, Joseph was going to be Joseph regardless of whether you took to him or not, and I think that would be the biggest compliment, you know, along with, God willing, loads of accomplishments, hopefully some trophies in there somewhere. You know, I think that would be the biggest compliment, that he was just himself. If people ask, like, who was Joseph when, yeah, Joseph was just Joseph. And hopefully that is consistent all throughout. If you ask 100 people, 10 people, hopefully it's the same message.
I don't think there's many people that don't take to you anyway. So, but, yeah. Thank you very much for joining me, Joseph.
Thanks for having me, Liam. Very enjoyable.